Where should I park my car? Have you ever really thought about it? We go to the store, we go to the office, we visit friends, and we come home, we all have to park our car somewhere. We really don't give a second thought about it. So is there really a need to talk about parking? I'm here to tell you, actually it is quite important. Hi, my name is Ping Ping. Welcome to my channel. I'm here to share some tips that hopefully you can apply in your everyday life and make you feel safer and be more aware of your surroundings and avoid potential dangers. So before we dive in, I want to explain why parking is something that you should give more thoughts. Parking lot is an example of transitional space. So transitional spaces, if you're not familiar with it, is basically a space where you have no control over and you cannot avoid when you want to go from one place to another. So the most common ones are gas stations, parking lots, and shopping malls or any stores. So you can see these are the places where you put yourself in the open, in the public. Like I said, you have no control over it. How do you prepare yourself? How do you position yourself? So today we're just gonna focus on parking. How do you find a parking lot that put yourself in the best position possible? Let's dive in. Tip number one. So when you get to a parking lot, avoid rushing into the first available spot. It's very tempting. We all do that. I do that. So I have to tell myself like, stop, okay? And cleanse, kind of scan the place real quickly. If you've been there before, hopefully anything that is out of ordinary will catch your eyes. So if you actually do catch something that is just unusual, you want to pause and then think if I should go ahead with my plan or if I should come back later. I know in my past I have done that at least once or twice where I went to a place where I feel like, okay, it seems weird. Okay, there's like people gathering here, like a bunch of people, and then it just doesn't seem like a right atmosphere for me. I actually left, and then I can come back later. If something, unless you have an appointment, then you must be there. But just kind of watch out for unusual activities, okay? If it's a place where you have never been to, actually it's even more important that you want to know the place. So I would probably like drive around that parking lot, just kind of quick through. One thing is that I want to know where I'm going, where that store is. Another thing is I want to know where the entrance or the exit of the parking lot. Some are kind of open, you have multiple exit and entrances, but some actually are tight. It has probably just one single entrance, one single exit. So it's important that you want to kind of know the layout of the place. Another thing I would look for in general would be security cameras. So if I see security cameras on top of a building, I would try to just kind of like park closer to that general area. So in case anything happens, hopefully, I know it's not guaranteed, hopefully they have video footage of what happened. Another one I would look for is to find a good lighting. For example, if you go to the store probably in the afternoon and then you anticipate when you come out it will be dark, or if it's already dark when you're visiting the place, you really want to put yourself in a general area that has a good lighting. And then one thing is very important, I think most people probably already do that, but it's a good reminder that if the parking lot is actually busy, I would avoid parking at the back alley of the stores. Tip number two, there are certain type of vehicles I would avoid when I look for a parking spot. The first one would be those cargo vans. Those are the vans that are longer than those minivans, and they're usually commercial use, commonly used by cable company, delivery service, airport shuttle, or pest controls. And they usually only have windows on the passenger side and the driver side. You can see through the back of the van. And the second type I avoid are those extra large size SUVs and trucks. So the idea is the same, especially if you drive a compact size to medium sized car. Imagine yourself next to them, or even worse, if you're between two of those, you put yourself in a position where it's really hard to see. So picture yourself when you're trying to get in and out of the car, or get your stuff or kids in and out of the back of your car when you're parked next to a very large vehicle. Because you're in such a small space, you are limiting your options of how you can respond to it. It could be someone that's approaching you and that makes you feel uncomfortable. And the next type of cars that I would totally avoid would be the cars that has really dark tinted windows. So those are the type of windows that you usually see on limousine. But even though I understand that it could be illegal in a lot of states, but we still see them on the streets. So those are the cars where I cannot see the inside through their windows, so I avoid them. And another type that I would avoid would be the cars that are already parked at the parking lot, where there's people inside. It could be a driver, it could be driver and multiple passengers. And I don't know how long they have been there, and I don't know why they are there. It doesn't really concern me why they're there, but the reason is that because I don't know why they're there, I don't want to guess, and I don't want to take risk. It could be people, they're just waiting to pick up someone they know, or it could be people with bad intentions. They're looking for an easy target. So in that situation, I'm gonna stay away from them, and I'm not gonna be an easy target for them. Tip number 3. So there are situations where I would suggest that you back up your car into a spot. So examples would be where when I find myself in a parking lot that is a little bit tighter, smaller, or where there is only one entrance and one exit. Or if I notice that the width of the driveways are a little bit narrower, or a parking spot is so much smaller than normal, those are the places that I would take more time to back up my car. And the reason is pretty simple. In case I find myself that I feel like I need to get out of there quickly, I understand that many of us are not used to back out our car into a parking spot, or just not good at it. So I would suggest that practice it sometimes. It's actually a good skill to have. A lot of us are not blessed with the technology of having a backup camera in your car. So take advantage of that and then practice it. You can practice at home in your garage, or find an empty lot, just like practice a few times. This way, you can get a better sense of how big your car is, the length of your car, the width of your car while you're sitting inside. So it's something that you can think about it. Tip number 4. If you find yourself in a situation where you're picking up someone, or you're going to be in a car to wait for something to be brought to you, and you anticipate that you will be waiting in a car for a period of time, it is very important where you park your car. So the first thing usually I would look for would be a general parking area where I have the most view of the stores, where the person I'm picking up from, or the store that's going to bring me stuff that they're going to be walking out from. So this way I will have the best view of the most activities possible. And the next thing would be tying to my previous tip, where it would be great if you're comfortable with back up your car into a parking spot. The way that you can have the best possible view of where you're looking at is to back up your car into a parking spot. And the next thing usually I will look for, and I understand that it's not always possible, it just depends on where you are, is that I would look for a spot where I can back up my car against the wall or against some kind of object. Some places have probably like landscape or the design where they have something tall that will be blocking the back of your car. I have one less direction to worry about, just because the fact is that no matter how much attention you're paying, it's just really difficult to pay attention to the back of your car all the time. It's physically impossible. And remember, once you park, always make sure that your car, the doors are locked. I know this is very basic, it's like common sense, but sometimes we forget, or sometimes something happens that we just forget. So remember to always check, especially while you're waiting in the car. Once you park, don't just pick up your phone and then start reading or start like watching a movie or something like that. Make sure that you don't get that false sense of security just because you're inside a locked car. So always pay attention to cars or the people around you. There could be people walking by, random people. And just in case, for example, people are walking towards your car that you're not expecting, or say there's a car driving around and all of a sudden park in front of you, blocking your car, that is something that you really want to catch as early as possible. Another thing it's important is to make sure that your phone is not preoccupied. So in case you need to call 911 or anyone that you normally call in case of an emergency, then you can just pick up the phone and call. And the last thing is that always, if you feel like something is wrong, for example, the person approaching you, it doesn't seem friendly, you can get out of there right away. Don't feel like that you might offend them because you take the action, or you feel embarrassed afterwards, feeling like, oh, it was actually nothing and I did that. Remember, at the end of the day, your safety is the most important thing. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. Before I go, I want to share this really important reminder. Remember, always trust your intuition. If you find yourself in a situation where you feel uncomfortable or you sense something is wrong, don't turn it off. Do something about it. If you're in a car, drive away. If you're walking, walk to a safer direction. Of course, it is not as simple as that. So we're going to go into different scenarios and different things that you can do to be prepared or respond in future videos. Remember, everything I'm sharing on my channel It's not to make you paranoid or instill fear in your everyday life. My goal here is to help you be more aware of your surroundings and know that you can be more prepared physically and mentally. If you found my tips today helpful, please like, subscribe, and share my video and help me grow my channel. If you have any questions, comments, or any tips that you would like to share, or any topics that you're interested in, please comment below. I would love to hear from you. And thank you. I'll see you next time.